Hello YouTube, I am CJ Michelli, author of the Christian fantasy series, The Durin Saga. You know, as a writer, you gotta be a reader too. I think everyone kind of intuitively knows this. You gotta read to write, or write well. But what I've been reading recently is some Greek mythology. I've been reading the Odyssey by Homer. I read the Iliad first. My brother actually got me them in a matching set, so my brother, wherever you are, thank you for the set. But I've been reading the Iliad and the Odyssey, and I'm almost done with the Odyssey now. Just in time for Thanksgiving, just in time for Christmas, and so I've been giving some thought to what I want to read in December. And as I was thinking about it, I'm thinking about the great actor Christopher Lee. Those of you who know that name will know where I'm going with this. I settled on The Lord of the Rings. Now, why do I call The Lord of the Rings a book? So, first of all, the copy that I have is actually in a single volume. This is The Fellowship of the Ring, this is The Two Towers, Return of the King, all in one volume. It's also because, if I recall correctly, Tolkien originally presented The Lord of the Rings to his publisher as a single volume, and the publisher told him to turn it into 3. Which explains why the beginning, middle, and ends of those books, how there's kind of like these weird cliffhanger endings where the story doesn't really feel finished at any point in Fellowship or The Two Towers, or at least that's how I remember it. Again, it's been a long time. I'm going to read it again. And I want to make an annual tradition of it. I'm inspired by Christopher Lee, who famously read The Lord of the Rings every year. That was actually the first thing he said to Ian McKellen's face when they met. Peter Jackson connected those two men, and the first time Ian McKellen and Christopher Lee ever sat down together, the first thing Christopher Lee ever said to Ian McKellen was that he read The Lord of the Rings every year. Ian McKellen plays Gandalf, Christopher Lee plays Saruman in the movies. So why Lord of the Rings? Why December? Okay, Lord of the Rings because, again, I want to read it annually, and after the Odyssey is as good a time as any. But I think it's also kind of appropriate because the Fellowship departed from Rivendell on December 25th in whatever year it was in the Third Age. And that's quite interesting. I think Tolkien was a very deliberate person in many, many ways. So choosing that date for the departure of the Fellowship. And it's so personal. You read these passages in The Lord of the Rings and his other writings, and you get the sense that there's something personal, there's something in Tolkien's own experience and memory that he's drawing on for these different things. So it's got me wondering, was there something important, some kind of important transition, an important departure that Tolkien underwent on December 25th, on Christmas Day, at some point in his own life? So, here's my challenge. I have looked it up. Lord of the Rings, all told, has 62 chapters. December has 31 days. So, I'm sure you can do the math there. That's exactly 2 chapters per day. And I've looked in this volume a bit, and the chapters are not impossibly long. So if you are a fellow avid reader, I challenge you. Let's read The Lord of the Rings together. And if you know me personally, by all means, let's talk about it. Also, let me know in the comments below. I've been inspired recently by some other YouTube channels, one in particular, to maybe start doing some readings here on the channel of my works and other people's books. I found out too that you can read books that are in the public domain without any issue from YouTube at all. But you can even read books that are not in the public domain, but not in their entirety. You can read short excerpts. And I'm very fascinated by this. If anyone would like to hear me read poetry or something, you know, let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking about trying that out. Especially this one. This is what I mostly want to read aloud to you. Again, not the whole thing, but, you know, little bits and pieces that I find especially inspiring. Like the whole, so do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. The kind of those kinds of passages. So, I don't know. If you would like to come along with me on this journey through the Lord of the Rings in the month of December. My new Christmas tradition, hopefully. Then yeah, let's do this. If you want to go through Lord of the Rings together, then let's do it. And even if I do it by myself, guys, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna read through the Lord of the Rings this month. And like I said, it's not a crazy amount of reading every day. It's just 2 chapters. I have learned in reading the Odyssey, which is also a thick boy, that I can actually set aside the time for reading in my schedule personally. I know not everyone has that kind of time to sit down and read a paper book. But even if you want to go and listen to audiobook chapters from the Lord of the Rings per day. Speaking of which, if you haven't heard Andy Serkis reading The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, when I buy an audiobook version of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, I'm getting that one. That man was born to read The Lord of the Rings. His voice, his accent, and of course his Gollum impression is perfect because need I say more? Andy Serkis played Gollum in the films, so that's why he's perfect for the job. Anyway, so if you'd like to travel through The Lord of the Rings with me this December and hopefully subsequent Decembers, let me know in the comments below and let's do this.